So you will get to see, different types of projects in this platform, and different, experts are explaining them from end to end. The knowledge and the, understanding that you will gain from doing these 250 plus projects, right? That level of understanding that will solidify all each of the concepts that you will learn.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Project Pro's expert session. Today, we have with us Hariharan Sampat Kumar. Hello, Hariharan. It is a pleasure to have you on board today.
Hello, Pragya. It's my honor. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, why don't you begin by introducing yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So as Pragya mentioned, so myself, Hariharan, I have over 3 years of experience in the field of data science and analytics. I started my career as an analyst at a service firm called, Latent View Analytics. Over there, I worked on diverse projects starting from, NPS prediction, buyer fraud detection system, and social media analytics and propensity modeling. And after working over 2 years there, I got offers from Uber and BYJU'S, and I joined BYJU'S, which is where currently I'm working as a data scientist. And in BYJU'S, I closely work with BYJU'S classes product team, where I help them for on their various data science needs. In here, I worked on quite a few interesting projects, starting from building a free trial prediction system, which is basically the backbone of the free trial, for the BYJU'S classes even now, and other projects like conversion prediction, segmentation, and much more. Right. So that's a brief about me.
Yeah, it's a wonderful brief. You've introduced yourself beautifully. Hariharan, when you look at different platforms, there are several platforms, data analysts or scientists or data engineers go for reference. There's Kaggle, there is GitHub, and there ProjectPro. How would you differentiate between these platforms?
Okay. So Kaggle, so this is all my personal views, right? So I see Kaggle as a major source for the learning platform, because in Kaggle, if you see, thousands of people try to solve a same problem in a different way. So that will help you to understand different point of view, and how a single problem can be tackled in a different perspective, right? So that's the learning that I usually get from Kaggle. And other things apart from this is, you will get to see how different algorithms work in a different problem setting. So you can't use all the all the algorithms for all the problems. So some algorithm won't work for a particular type of problem, and some will work, right? So you will get all those learnings from the Kaggle, and I personally use Kaggle for that purpose only. And when you say, let's say, GitHub, right? So GitHub is majorly used for using code repository, right? I personally push my code whenever a particular project is completed. I push my code into GitHub repo. And whenever, let's say, after 3-4 months down the line, if I if something is not working, I don't need to search my code, okay, where I kept it, what I written, etc. So I can directly go to my repo, see what I've done, and I can understand, okay, what improvement can I do, or what was went wrong, etc. So that's majorly my GitHub use case. And ProjectPro, I look at ProjectPro in a three different lens. One is obviously the learning, right? So you will get to see different types of projects in this platform, and different experts are explaining them from end to end, which you cannot get otherwise, right? Even in Kaggle or GitHub, nobody will explain the project they did. Obviously there will be markdowns that people will write text about it, but a video explanation from the creator itself, himself or herself, is really good, right? And the second thing is the code support, right? Let's say if you are working in a particular project in a company, right? And if you are encountering in a similar kind of project or situation that you've already seen learned from the ProjectPro, right? You can go and take that particular code snippet and then just change the data source or few modifications here and there. Your code will you will reduce a lot of time, save a lot of time there. That's one code support. And the other things are basically new project ideas. So let's say if I look at the repository of projects that are available in ProjectPro, I'll get an idea, okay, why can't I try this particular project to my particular industry, right? That's the different lens through which I see ProjectPro.
Got it. So each of the platform has its own purpose.
Correct, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, a little, if you can talk briefly about the projects you've created for Project Pro and who is the target audience for those particular projects?
Okay, perfect. So I created two projects so far. So one is the RFM analysis and propensity modeling project for an e-commerce company. So that's the problem, And so the target audience for this group, I would say, is both a new learner and also an experienced professional, right? I'll say the how it is used for both of these people. So for new learners, okay, whenever they put a project on their resume, okay, I seen multiple candidates who come. So I take interviews in BYJU'S. So I see many people who will be putting their on their resume as like Titanic data set, or this is standard standard projects that you will find in Kaggle. Okay, that's what people will put. Okay, whereas this RFM analysis and propensity modeling, it's a different business related problem. Okay, so people can readily use this and apply this problem statement in their respective businesses. Okay, and putting this project in a resume will make the interviewer think, okay, there is something this person has done unique compared to the other standard projects that the people have done. So in that way, that is going to be a huge plus for the new learners. And for the experienced professionals, let's say a person is already working in a retail domain or e-commerce domain, right? So they can readily apply this particular RFM analysis and propensity modeling, because propensity modeling is nothing but predicting whether a user will buy a particular product in the next X days or not. Okay, so they can easily use this project in their industry, given that the data set is available. So this is regarding the first project. And the second project which I created is the end-to-end real estate price prediction app, right? So mostly this is going to be useful for new learners, because it's an end-to-end process. You will start from data pre-processing, model building, and deployment of the model as an app, right? So this will give you understanding of how the end-to-end pipeline look like. And for experienced professionals also, they can understand the process in which model is deployed as an app, right? So that process understanding, that experienced persons can learn from this. Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
it. Yeah.
Got it. Understood. Okay. So talking about these two projects only and talking about the core of our product, basically the key part of our product is the reusability of projects.
Mm.
So who do you think can reuse projects and how much time you think something like this could save?
Okay, so I see there are two reusability options. One is code reusability, and second is the process reusability, right? So when I say code reusability, so let's say I've created a, so one of the project is RFM analysis and propensity modeling, right? So in there, so I've created multiple modular codes, okay, for creating these features for RFM features and RFM scores and segmentation. So people who are working on the similar kind of project, they can just copy and paste that particular code snippet, and then just change the data source. They will get their output ready in more than like 50% of time is reduced in there, right? So this is a great time saver. And when it comes to process reusability, the current project which I'm working on involves AWS cloud services and multiple parts of the services, right? So it cannot be converted into a single modular code where you just run button on one single file and all the processes will run. So that not happen in this kind of scenario. So in this scenario, what you can learn is you can understand the process. Okay, let's say if you want to build an end-to-end system using AWS services, how to do it. Okay, what is the first step, what is the second step, and what is the last step, and how to tie each of the step. So all these things can be understood from this the complete process, which can be reused. And then whenever you try to apply similar kind of create similar kind of problem in your own company or own job, you can follow this process easily, because this is not easily available in outside. So that is the one main advantage of this.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, this is super helpful, actually. The two parts, different parts you explained, that is further helpful. Another question that I have is, this is in fact a question we get very often from our users.
Okay.
So they very frequently ask us, hey, I just want to go through this particular project or two project or three project, and we have a repository of already 253 projects right now. So why do you think a person needs 250 projects and not 2, 3, 5?
Okay. So to be frank, 2 or 3 projects is enough to put on a resume to get a job. But the knowledge and the understanding that you will gain from doing these 250 plus projects, right? That level of understanding that will solidify all each of the concept that you will learn. So this clarity in thought and then the clarity in the process will help you to explain those 2 or 3 projects really good, so that the interviewer get impressed and then give you the offer letter. So that's the important here.
So even though one may get the concepts clear in 2 or 3 projects, the depth will come when they are practicing more and more, basically.
Correct, yeah.
Got it. And another question, this again is from our viewers.
Okay.
So they ask us, why do we need cloud labs? So in your opinion, why are cloud labs important?
So this is an hands-on approach, right? It's not just copy and paste thing. So you need to write the code, run it yourself to see how the outputs are, coming. So the expert might have, combined 3 to 4 lines of code and then put it in a single function. So it's your job and duty to make that, split that function line by line and run it in a cloud lab and understand how the data is being transformed after every, step. So that will give you a greater understanding of how to do things on your own. You won't just rely on just googling stuff and then getting the copy and pasting the code. You itself you'll create module on your own down the line, right? So that's the important of having that hands-on approach. Just the cloud lab is really important.
Got it. And while you create these projects, you take interviews at BYJU'S as well, but at the core of it, everyone is a learner.
Correct. Yeah.
So how do you as a learner stay up to date with the latest trends in the industry?
Okay. So I do 2 things. One is I follow this Analytics India magazine. So they, have a weekly, like a newsletter kind of stuff. They will just, give what has happened in the last week. Right? So that will help me to understand the macro trends of things. And the other thing is the LinkedIn. So obviously, if you keep following, people in your relevant industry, so the LinkedIn feed automatically suggests you the similar content, right? So that will help you keep up to date on what happening instant. Obviously you cannot go into small details of what is happening. At a macro level, you can understand, okay, what is the new development in, let's say, NLP recently, or what is happening in the reinforcement learning part of things. So that's the high level thing that we can obviously get understanding from using these kinds of resources.
What is one action you would recommend somebody who is new to data science today takes?
So that is diversifier learnings. Okay. So I've seen many people. Okay. So let's say if you take a simple, let's say linear regression algorithm, people will just learn, watch one video or one article and that's all. They think, okay, they know about the algorithm. Okay. But that's not how it works. Okay. You need to at least refer, 4 to 5 articles for each of the algorithms or each of the math concepts. Okay. Only then you will get to understand, okay, the same concept from a different, writer's perspective. And that will help you, bridge the gap between, each of the writers' point of view, and then you will get a complete understanding of, okay, how this algorithm works. Okay, so diversify. Always don't stick to one particular resource. Use that resource majorly, and also supplement it with other types of resources like articles or some LinkedIn posts or Medium blogs, etc.
Got it.
So diversification, yeah.
So is that something you learned very recently, or was that something you wish you knew about data science before you started?
So I actually not from a computer science background. So I'm a mechanical engineer, graduate. So the journey into breaking into data science is also hard for me. So, and at that time, I just had an interest on, this field to break into, but I don't know how to do it. Okay. I don't have any support also. So what I did is, even for learning a single algorithm, I try to, follow the same thing, what I just explained, right? So refer multiple articles. I still, let's say if I found an interesting article on linear regression, I'll just take it up. Okay. I don't just ignore it because I already know it. I just keep, learning the same content from a different, author's perspective. So because every time I read, I realize, okay, this is something new that I learned from this, even though the algorithm I've used multiple times in the project, right? So that's one thing.
Got it. This is pretty interesting, Hariharan. I did not know you come from a mechanical background and you switched to data science. You are now a senior data scientist at BYJU'S. You are an project expert at ProjectPro. So this is pretty good. I mean, you've been constantly learning and upskilling yourself.
Yeah, I mean, so if you don't do that, you can't be in this field. So people mostly, try to get into the field, but they stop learning after that. So, but if you keep, stop your learning after that, then there is not growth, enough growth for you, because the pace at which the technology is changing is really high. So people who are entering into, data science are starting their machine learning, but things are going in, reinforcement learning part of things. So there is a huge gap, if you stop learning, then you will stay there.
Yeah,
That's a motto for me.
that's right. That's right. Now, my last question to you, Hari, is it's not for our viewers, not for our learners, but for someone who aspires to be in your position at Project Pro.
Okay.
So, what recommendation or suggestion would you make to an applicant for someone who's applying for your role at Project Pro?
Okay. Okay. So I would say like create projects in a holistic manner, right? So create projects that are more business related, because that will help people who are using our projects. That will help them gaining better visibility among the standard set of projects that people will do, right? And B, it will also replicate the real life project that each of the experienced data scientists will do in their real lifetime. Okay, starting from approach formulation, business understanding, and finally creating the complete end-to-end flow, along with the high importance on the business use case and the impact. Okay, if projects have been created in this way, I think it's a win for both the learners and also the experts.
Yeah, got it, got it. This has been super fun, Hari. Thank you so much for doing this with us today.
Thank you for having me here, Pragya. It's my honor.